Hello, hello. For Ferrari, we have had a Twitch Prime sub for Ferrari from Captain 4G. Thank you very much. How are we all doing? Oh, you're good. Are we all excited for more Tier 3 carnage? You know how the last stream went? Here we are, loading into the Netherlands. Who is ready for this absolute... I just hope it's not raining. Let's hope it's not raining. Or do we want it to be rain? I don't know anymore. I do not know anymore. I scream the goat. Swan's not salty. Happy days. Shadow, is that Davey? Oh no, Byland. Byland, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Byland. Yeah. Is that how you say it? Am I saying it right? I hope so. I've just realised my screen is cropped completely wrong. Don't know why it keeps doing this. I think if me or Luke stream, it changes. So expect the same from Luke in a few days' time. Why is this not working? Bear with me 1 second. This is not working how it should. Try now. There we go. Bam. Let me just do the same with everything. Wet sprint and race. Oh dear. Oh dear. Guys, let me... This is going to look really weird, but let me capture a replay of the pit lane right now. So I can make sure... Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's not right. Let me try with this one. Is this all going to be wrong? It's all wrong. Why is it all wrong? Oh no. Okay, let me try this. It's not exactly what I wanted. Don't worry, guys. You're not missing much. Everyone's on an outlap right now. Would you not rather have the juicy replays later on when everyone's been in it? One more to do. There we go. Okay, back to the action, everybody. Belgium will hardly be better. True. Alrighty, let's get some. It's not what I want. I wanted that and that. Because the first person to start a lap will be my driver, K-Best. We'll be looking to have another front row start. Obviously, qualified P2, started first for the race in Baku. Number 45, been here since season 1. Started off in tier 1, took off some assists, and finds himself now in tier 3, trying to improve on his performance out there at the moment. Sorry, this is very loud for me. There you go. Might be a bit better. Luke is ahead of Best. Oh, is he? Oh, he is. Okay. Let's watch Luke as he comes down the final sector. Only a few corners in this final sector of the lap. But it is still just as challenging as Luke loses the back end and finds himself running into the gravel a little bit. Mercedes driver will not be happy with that. So we'll head back to K-Best, who's going to be coming around the same sequence of corners as we just saw Luke have a bit of a mistake through. Best keeping his rear of his car under control this time as he comes out onto the straight through the banked corner. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 112.0 for K-Best. First person to set lap. Zervod closely following behind with a 112.1. I think it's Livingston. No, it's not. It's Cassie who's just crossed the line with a 13.4. And now it's going to be Rory. Oh no, Sam Palmer with a 12.6. Next across the line will be Adolf. He's going to come through the banked corner now, open that DRS and run up to the line. And it is going to be a 23.4, so maybe not a representable time there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Kosa finds himself up into P3. Mitchell, the reserve driver at Alpha Tauri, back on the grid today, puts it straight up into provisional pole with 11.2. Next across the line will be Noah Masic, who has just put it into P2. Getting disqualified from the last race in Baku, going to be looked to recover here today. Rory Bates puts in a time best for P6 as Sargent crosses the line, goes P8 in the Red Bull. So Magnussen now running up to the line for his first lap in the AlphaTauri. His teammate currently on pole. Magnussen only 7th fastest. Last time out's race winner in Baku. Ice Cream puts it to P6 as we're going to have the new signing at McLaren. Vasilev starting his first lap of the session. I believe he's going to be the only one out there on a lap other than maybe Unfi, but it looks like he might be in the gravel. He is. And Livingston, who is actually going through the middle sector right now, but it looks like he's backed out. His ERS is flashing, so we will stay on board with Vasilev. And here comes Vasilev now, flying through the middle sector. About to be entering Sector 3 here at Zandvoort. As he slams on the brakes, the DRS shuts close. He's trying to wrestle the car through that left-hander and onto the final two. Planting the power down as soon as he can. As he's going to fly around this right-hander and onto the final straight. Up to the line. He's going to be setting a 111.6, puts it onto the front row. This third driver to put it into the sub 112s. think we're going to have a bit of a quiet period. But I do believe the first person to set the next lap will be Luke Martin, who we saw have a little excursion onto the gravel earlier. But he will be looking to have a good result here today. No teammate turning up to this race. Jeff Pavic, after scoring his first point in Baku, is not going to be attending this race. But here goes Luke Martin as he winds up. He's already a little bit low on ERS, weirdly. But he's going to open that rear wing and fly down into turn 1, the Tarzan corner, hugging it to the inside, touching a little bit of curb, unlike he doesn't like to touch grass, so... and through the second banked corner on this track, or I suppose it's the first one, and flies down, slingshots himself down into this weird, not really a straight, but still pretty, it's all flat out, so it'll do, and into another very sweeping and fast high-speed corner into this weird section, I think. Oh, he's lost the back end on the curb. Luke Martin spinning round and hitting the barrier. Emirates will not be happy about that, and neither will Luke Martin, as he's going to have to go again and try and set another lap. He's had a bit of trouble on his first two, but I do believe the next person to set a lap will be Cassie, the Alpine TP. And Adolf is his last name in the alphabet. Yeah, Adolf is his last name. Don't worry. Well, here goes Cassie, currently P12 with a 13.4. Maybe not representable of what he can do around here, as he will be looking to improve. Let's see if he's up as he heads into Sector 3. And if he is, there's not much time to leave. He is nearly a second up on his time. So he's looking at the moment for that P8, P9 position on the grid between Bates and Magnussen, possibly. Unless he can find a few more tenths in these final two corners. Misses the apex a little bit there in the penultimate corner. And this corner is just flat out. You need to keep your foot pinned to the floor as you run up to the line and open the DRS. And he does put it into the top 5 with a 12.0. It's a big improvement there from the Alpine driver. Great stuff from him there. As I believe it'll be Sebastian Zervad next to set a lap. Is he going to improve on his time? Yes, he is. He's going to push Cassie down to P6 as Ice Cream crosses the line to start a new lap. And I believe that is Kosev. Sorry, it's Unfi crossing the line now to start a new lap as well. But let's make sure we don't miss anyone coming up to the line to finish their laps. So the second laps of qualifying. As Hugo Magnussen, like I say, last time out race winner in Baku. Missing the apex maybe a little bit from the final corner. Running out of ERS as he exits. And he's actually on a 2-minute lap time. So maybe I'm just commentating for no reason. Mitchell looks like he's going to be down on his time. And he's going to pull off into the pit lane. So that will be it for him. I believe Sargent will be the next to cross the line. He's saying he's 2 tenths up on his time. But I don't know how much I believe the telemetry in this game. Let's see. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Puts it up into P7. Just behind Cassie in P6. The 120.077. And I believe the next cross line will be K Best. Or it could be the other Alpine. I think that might be Cassie, though, coming into the pits. Yes, it is. So it is going to be K Best. Can he improve? Can he find himself on the front row once again? No, he's going to pull off into the pit lane. As Noah Masic will be the next to cross the line. And he is on a cooldown lap or something or other. Next to cross the line will be Roy Bates. Been on the podium a couple of times this season. Can he find himself higher up in qualifying? Not on this occasion, and stays a 12.2, or he could be starting another lap. This game just doesn't like to tell you anymore. Yes, he is starting another lap. And I believe the same for Livingston, but let's just make sure. Oh, Livingston seems to be out of fuel. So Sam Palmer is on a 5-minute lap, or yeah, he's starting a new lap. And next to cross the line is going to be Unfi, but I think he's pulling off into the pits as well. Yes, he is. So it's going to be Sargent. No, he's already gone through. Kosev already going into the pits. What is everyone doing today? Okay, let's try with Magnussen, who's going to be coming into the pits as well. Masic looks to be on a lap. Yes, he is. But is he going to pull off into the pits? It looks like he's going to be out of fuel as well. He is out of fuel. Jesus Christ. He's going into the pit lane. Okay, I guess we go on board with Rory Bates. He's going to be completing his lap His second lap in qualifying. Does he improve? Yes, he does. Puts it up into P7, a 12.0 for him. And then it's going to be his teammate, Sam Palmer, next across the line. Seems to be down on his time, though. And could be... Yes, he's backed off his lap, I think. So it's going to be Luke Martin next across the line for Mercedes. And yet to set a time, but it looks like he's going to get one set now. In the late stage of this qualifying, 6 minutes left on the timer, and Martin puts it up into the top 6. Nice little lap from him there. And I'm sure that will take a little bit of stress off him for the final stage of qualifying. I've just realised we have 2 Alfa Romeos now. I think Duck has just joined. So, is Duck on a lap? No, he's not. Where is he? No. No, Duck's coming into the pits. His teammate could be on a lap here. I think he is. He says he's 5/10 up on his time. That will currently not put him any higher up on the grid. He's got to have over a second improvement here to find himself ahead of Sam Palmer in P14. Let's see if the game is lying to us and if he is going to improve on his time. It looks like he's going to be a faster lap. It's going to be a 12.7 for Adolf, and 1/10 off the back of Sam Palmer in P14 is not what he's going to be hoping for. As I believe we are going to have Livingston, the next one, to start a lap here. As Martin and Bates and Adolf are all going to be on in-laps. So let's see. It's right on board with Livingston as he's going to come around the final 2 corners to start his first flying lap. Oh, sorry, his second flying lap of the session. So he goes on the long run down into turn 1. You want to... There's 2 lines you can take for here. You can either go very deep and hook the car around. There's an Aston Martin of Roy Bates in the gravel there. Maybe getting it a little bit crossed up as he comes through the exit of turn 1. But here goes Livingston round this beautiful bank corner. It looks great when the cars go flying through there. Full push in qualifying. He's going to hook the car through the left, through the right, and into the downhill long right-hander now. Very, very fast corner. Very easy to get wrong as well, just like the rest of this sector. As we saw Luke Martin have a little bit of trouble on that outside curve before. But it looks like Livingston's going to keep it all stable through there, getting the power down nicely. It's looking like a good lap from Livingston so far in the Williams. We'll be looking to recover for his teammate who's taken a race ban here today. As a Red Bull gets out the way. Into sector 3 now. Hooking the inside curb. I'm getting their power down nicely, not running too wide on that outside curb. The curbs are lethal around here. We've seen a few examples of that already. But Livingston's going to navigate this lap beautifully. Coming through the final corner now, running out of ERS. It seems to be a common occurrence around here. As he runs up to the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be 11.7. Heading into the sub-12s. Once again, P4 for Livingston. That's a great lap there from him. And I believe Kosev might be next. No, it's going to be Unfi. Yet to set a lap time. But this is going to be his first lap of the session. As he comes around the final corner now. Opens that DRS, and here we go, up to the line. Just outside the top, the sub-12s, and puts himself just behind his teammate, Kosev, who is going to be crossing the line now. Can he improve? Yes, he can, up into P5 for Kosev. And a 111.7 for him. And here comes Vasilev, currently on the front row, but he's going to be pulling off into the pit lane. Maybe not enough fuel, or not happy with his lap. But into the pit lane for him. As Magnussen is going to be next to cross the line. 4/10 up apparently on his time. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Up into the top 12 with a 112.0. 6, very close amongst the midfield at the moment. As Ice Cream will be next across the line. And I think he's starting a new lap. Livingston is still out on track. I'm not sure if he did that intentionally, if he's going for 2 push laps. Sargent now coming up to the line. He's also starting a new lap. David Ducker is going to be finishing his first lap of qualifying, and he's going to stay at the back of the grid. The Alfa Romeos, after having a great Tier 2 race here, are going to be rounding out the back of the grid at the moment for the sprint race. Here's Duck's teammate and driver, as Duck is the team principal of Alfa Romeo, coming around And he's going to be starting a new lap, actually. So is Mitchell. We'll stay on board with Mitchell, though, as I think he is going to be the next wave of drivers to start setting a lap here. Current provisional pole sitter heading down into this beautiful corner. His best sets us the fastest time in the session so far, a tenth faster than Mitchell. But Mitchell will be looking at that and grinning, hoping he can beat that here in the final stage of the qualifying in Zandvoort. This comes flying through sector 2 right now, hooking up these corners beautifully, it must be said. You can see how he just gets that turn in to hit the apex as he needs to. Opens the rear wing, and now he's flying down into sector 3. Purple sector 2 for him there, very briefly anyway. Getting the power back down out of this very medium speed corner into the two fast right-handers as Kosev has retired. I believe that is in the pit lane. Maybe realising he can't get another lap in this session. But here comes Mitchell up to the line. What is he going to manage to set in this session? Oh, and he's gone slower than what he did last time. It's a 1:11.244, I think it was. So currently best on pole position for the Zandvoort. His teammate, best coming around the final corner to back into the pit lane. So that's going to be it for him. And we're going to have a Ferrari spawn of Unfi on the final corner, and it's going to be the two Aston Martins to come through the final two corners and set their final laps here in qualifying. Sam Palmer leading the pair out of the final corner. What are they going to manage to do in this session? It's not been the greatest for Sam Palmer here today, and he doesn't improve. What can his teammate do? Puts it up into P6 in the final minute of qualifying. Zerval puts himself up into P8. And Luke Martin coming through the final corner now. As Cassie crossed the line, I don't think he managed to improve. Martin stays P9. As Vasilev's going to be coming across the line now. Can he make it a front row lockout for McLaren? No, he can't. As Masic puts it up into P3 and pushes Faxi down in the final stages of qualifying here. As Adolf comes off into the pit lane, Magnussen's into the pits, and Mitchell will not improve due to it being his in-lap. So, it's going to be best on pole. Another front row start for him. And Mitchell rounding out the front row, not being able to manage to improve on his first lap in qualifying. Masic putting himself up there into P3 in the final few stages of qualifying. And Vasilev in his first outing for the McLaren team up in P4. Closely followed by Livingston. Bates putting in a cracking lap at the end there into the top 6. And from what I've heard from chat, it sounds like it's going to be a wet race or a wet qualifying and race. No, a wet sprint race. Oh my god, a wet sprint race and oh wait, I just realised you can't even see chat on the stream. Oh well, a wet sprint and a wet race. Apparently, it's going to be mixed conditions. Mixed conditions. Okay. Hopefully, they can live through that. Trying to get chat up. That's not working. Hydrate. I've been hydrated anyway. But okay. Okay, let me try doing that. No, that didn't work. Aha, there we go. Okay, I'll have to sort that out in a minute. Gonna go dry, wet, dry. Is that in the race, or is that dry in the sprint, wet in the race, then dry in the race? Either way, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting sprint race, and we might see a bit of a mix-up for the grid for the actual race. So let's get excited for this, guys. It's very exciting tier 3 race. I feel like if everyone's on softs, we know the rain's going to come. Oh, mediums. It's like a lot of mediums. There's a few softs. Both Hasses look like they're on soft tyres. I know Zerwald on mediums, but we have Masic, Livingston, Kosev, Martin, Adolf and Unfi all on the soft compound tyre. And McLaren's both opting for the mediums, Mitchell on the mediums. Magnussen has been disqualified. Bates on the mediums. So we've got a lot of medium runners. It's a bit of a mix, really. It's a bit of a mix. Let's get some predictions in, guys. Who do we think will be winning the sprint race? Who do you think's got the consistency and the skill to keep it through this mixed conditions? Big crash in turn 1. Mitchell's winning. Well, I think we're about to find out. As we head to 5 red lights here in Zandvoort for the sprint race in tier 3. And away we are. Away we go. And it looks like a good start for Best and Mitchell. Masic getting a little bit bogged down. So is Vasilev on the inside. Kosev trying to go around the outside of the McLaren through turn 1. No crashes to be seen yet in this race. Mitchell trying to find his way around the outside of K-Best through the bank corner. It's not going to happen for him on this occasion, though. His Best gets a good drive. Well, Mitchell might get a better drive. Took it into that slipstream as we head up into Sector 2 for the first time in this race. The front two already pulling a bit of a gap to Noah Masic, who's on the soft compound tyres, so might take a few laps for them to fire up and get into the groove, but Best currently having a clean getaway. There's a bit of a contact at the back between Adolf and Palmer's also falling back a little bit. Adolf is missing a complete front wing off his Alfa Romeo, and that will be costing him dearly in this sprint race. You want to ideally not be taking any pit stops. Oh, is Vasilev getting a little bit loosey-goosey through the through the curve on the inside there. So far, Best having a good run out in front. Mitchell keeping pace with him though, and Masic will be looking to make those soft compound tyres work to the best of their ability. Very close grid at the moment, not a second between each car all the way down to P14. Duckett also gaining in 3 positions on that opening lap after just appearing halfway through qualifying. It looks like Masic is really struggling though on those soft compound tyres, and Vasilev's keeping up to him alright at the moment as the front two. Still Mitchell right under Best bumper as we head once again into Sector 2. The AlphaTauri driver not letting up after missing out on that pole position. Oh, as Unfi loses the rear end coming through the hairpin, or a massive hairpin, I suppose is what it is. I need to get a track map up after this race, but out in front, Mitchell falling back a little bit on this lap. 3/10 now between P1 and P2, but it's still all very close throughout the field as Ice Cream moving up a position. As I think Cassie, someone's had a spin. Sargent has had a spin on the penultimate corner, and he's got to be careful not to take out the Aston Martin of Sam Palmer, who's going to be making his way through. So we go flying through into turn A. Mitchell's still right under the rear wing of K Best. Masic still not finding the pace he needs on those soft compound tyres to launch an attack on either of these guys at the moment. But the Haas driver keeping it very clean, and they're on the road in P3 at the moment, so that might be his goal, just to get a good starting position for the race. I won't say that just yet, Van Loon. Let's wait until we see the checkered flag. But I can see raindrops on the halo of the AlphaTauri right now, so it's going to get very sketchy for these drivers as they head down into turn 1 once again. Oof, Mitchell taking a little bit of the inside curb there. Very easy to lose the rear end whilst doing so. As Ducker picks up a 5-second penalty, is Mitchell going to try and find a way round the outside here? Not quite. Turn 3 isn't a great overtaking spot, but he's still got the better run than the McLaren as they go up the hill and into turn 7. They're going to be pushing each other through the corner. Best just doesn't seem to have the pace of what Mitchell has around here at the moment. Maybe the tricky conditions showing Mitchell's prowess. But Best just doing enough at the moment to keep Mitchell behind, but he is backing him up into Noah Masic, who's lurking there in the background and making the most of his soft tyres in the short time he's going to have to use them with this rain falling. A little bit of contact maybe there between the AlphaTauri and the McLaren, but it all keeps clean so far as we head through the final 2 corners, 13 and 14. DRS now active, remember, for the AlphaTauri, and he's going to pull alongside into turn 1. Is he going to manage to make the move stick round here? Best goes a little bit deep. Mitchell looks for the switchback and he finds it. But Best gets the better run on the outside of the corner and puts himself back ahead of the AlphaTauri. Masic still lurking in the background there in the Haas, trying to find a gap for if these guys leave any. But Mitchell making an attempt there, but it not paying off on this occasion. Sargent now picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Mitchell getting the rear end, stepping out on him there as his track gets ever and ever less grippy. But still, all the way down to P8, not a second in between any of the cars. This is some great racing here as Mitchell's going to get the DRS once again as we head down now into turn 11. Sometimes if you get a good run out of turn 10, there's contact made through there again, you can sometimes make the move down into turn 11. As it looks like Mitchell is going to be pushing Best through the corner on this occasion, trying to find the inside line through the final corner. Very, very dangerous stuff in these conditions. He opens the DRS once again, using a little bit of ERS on this occasion. And into turn 1, Mitchell's going to have the inside line this time. Is he going to manage to make the move stick? Best falling down to P2. Mitchell closing off the outside line, and it looks like he's got the move done on this occasion. Taking a different line to what he did last lap, but Best may be looking for a bit of a response here as we head up the hill once again out of turn 3. But Mitchell already pointing a half a second gap. Looks like Mitchell might have Best covered off in this situation. Now Best has got to worry about Noah Masic behind him on the softer compound tyre, but in these conditions it might be a little bit tricky for people to make moves. And remember, this is only the sprint race. This is where you're going to start in the main event. So you don't want to have any big collisions in this and start at the back of the grid. because points are scored in this race, but not as many as you can get in the main event. I'm sure Best isn't too fussed that he's fallen down from first position, but Masic will be looking to make these soft compound tyres work. But we're halfway through the sprint race now, and Mitchell out in first, leading the pack, and still very close, all the way down from P2 to P7. Oh, sorry, no, P8. So a few people opting for the Inters this early on. The track doesn't look wet enough just yet. I think the softs or the slick tyres will still be quicker. But once you see the track getting a little bit of a shine on it, I think that'll be the time we see a few more people in. 5-second penalties for Luke Martin, Duckett, Sargent and Unfi, all at the back of the field. They will not be happy about that. Some of them could get removed, but in these chicken conditions, I'm sure it was just a fact of not being able to brake on time. As Rory Bates has lost the back end of his Aston Martin and put it into the wall, losing his entire front wing. We saw that just in the background when we were watching those cars come through, and that is not going to be how he wanted this race to go. He was up there in the points for the sprint race. I know he's 7/10 though between Noah Masic and K Best. Has DRS been deactivated? Because that's quite a big gap considering they've just gone through a DRS zone. As there's a bit of movement going on down the pack here, as Ice Cream has come into the pit lane. I would say, you can see, as he comes out, nearly puts it into the wall. But I would say, looking at this track now, we're starting to see a few raindrops making a bit of an effect on the surface. And I wonder if we'll see a few of these guys in. Can K-Best maybe try and come in a lap earlier than Mitchell or a lap later and put himself back into the lead of this race? That's all it could take. Or we could see some of the guys down further at the back come in and make the most of the conditions and try and put themselves up at the front of the field. Let's see. Mitchell coming through the final two corners now. Is he going to decide to come into the pits on this lap? No, he's going to stay out. There's a few pit crews out on in the pit lane at the moment. The McLarens have got to play this right because they are so close on track that they might have to double stack here. And if there's no communication between the two, that could prove quite costly. As Vasilev falling off the back a little bit here from Noah Masic, who is slowly creeping up to the back of K-Best once again. These guys still out on the slick tyres. And the track is getting wet. It does look like it's going to be wet conditions very soon. I still think the slick tyres might have that edge though by the looks of the timing board here. And if they commit to it, they've got to stay out on track. They've got to hope that no one on these Inters, I think Luke Martin is leading the Inter train at the moment on those 3-lap old intermediates. I hope they don't creep up to the back of these guys on slicks. But Masic is coming into the pit lane. Masic is in the pits, supposedly changing for the intermediate tyres. It does look like he's got a bit of graining going on with his slick tyres as well, as Magnussen has put it into the wall at turn 7. Not too sure what's happened there. There's a yellow flag where the McLarens are. I'm not too sure what happened there either. As Kosev coming into the pit lane now as well. So is Livingston. So a lot of people committing to the intermediates with just 2 laps to go. Let's see what these guys at the front decide to do. Palmer still up into P5 now on the slick tyres. and might have the company of Masic creeping up to his rear wing in a few laps' time. But the track is definitely getting wetter. It's going to be very interesting to see what some of these drivers decide to do. Zerveld 10 seconds off the back of the two McLarens. There's Palmer, and where's Palmer gone? I think he's had a little bit of a spin on the exit of turn 10, and all these intermediate runners now gaining massively on him has made him fall back down into P9. So Kosev, Masic, and Martin Livingston all going through, and now Ice Cream in P10 will be looking to make a little bit of an impression on him as they come through the final two corners. As Zerveld now into the pit lane, coming off his slick tyres for what's one lap, or well, 2 laps. But here comes Ice Cream pulling alongside Sam Palmer on the slick tyre, and up into P8 for him now, as he's just overtaken Zerveld, who's gone into the pits. But it looks like these guys are going to just commit to the strategy and stay on the slick tyre. It's going to be very challenging for them. But Masic has got 14 seconds to make up to the McLarens, and then another 5 all the way up to Mitchell in P1 in what's going to be one lap distance in just a few seconds time. As now Zerveld, who just pit 1 lap earlier for Inters. Oh, and Adolf's put it into the wall now on the exit of the final corner. Don't think we're going to have a safety car now, just for how late this is into the race. You can see there in the barrier, the Alfa Romeo. Still on the slick tyres all the way at the back, interestingly. Masic has made up 3 seconds. As now Ice Cream's put it into the barrier in the final corner. And he's right in the middle of the track. Bloody hell. Red Bull would not have been expecting that, with him being on the intermediates as well. But it's very easy to lose the rear end of the car if you're running a dry setup through here. His teammate is going to go past him and up into P11. Masic has gained 6 seconds. And Masic is going slow. He's out of fuel. Masic is out of fuel. He's got half a lap to go, but he might fall out of the points here, as Luke Martin will be eyeing him up as well. And looking for a top 5 start. Luke Martin goes past the Haas. Next up is Livingston. I'm sure he will be getting past him as well, but he's the man who's stayed out on the slicks with the 2 McLarens and Sam Palmer, and he's come home to win from the front row. Best falling down from pole position, but getting P2, and Vasilev in his first outing, his first race here at Amethyst Racing, claiming P3 just behind his teammate. Kosev and Martin looking into P4 and P5 as Noah Masic ran out of fuel. But is he going to come home to P6? Livingston will be looking to take that position off him at the line, and he is. Livingston up into P6 at the dead. And Masic just finishing ahead of his teammate in P7. Zerveld P8 after swapping to the intermediates in the final few laps. But Livingston finishing 2 tenths ahead of Masic and overtaking him at the line. And yeah, very nice sprint race, it must be said. As Palmer still up into the top 10 after Sargent's penalty being served. And I think Duckett will be finishing P13. Rory Bates claiming P11 as well after his spin from P6. I'm sure he's not too happy about. The last lap, the Inters guys gained 7 seconds on Best and Mitchell. Yeah, they did. Bloody hell. But there is your sprint race winner, and the man on pole for the main event, Mitchell, the AlphaTauri reserve, has done it again. Put it onto the front row for another race this season. So there's your final results here today. Mitchell will be starting on pole for the main event, followed by Best, Vasilev, Kosev, Martin, Livingston, Masic, Zerveld, Cassie, Palmer, Bates, Sargent, Ducker, Unfi, and Ice Cream, Adolf and Magnussen, the 3 DNFs of the sprint race, will be starting at the back of the grid. The two Swedes, Ice Cream and Magnussen. Magnussen, the last time out, was race winner, starting from the back of the grid here today. But there will be no pause in the stream. We are going straight to the race, and penalties will be served next race in Spa, which isn't a bad place actually to serve grid penalties. So all DNFs were Scandinavians. Are we expecting rain for this race? Anyone know? Any engineers or drivers? Are we expecting rain? Or is it going to be a nice dry race? Let me know. Rain at the very, very end. Interesting. Interesting. So we could have a wet finish to this race. Let's have a look at the tyres that everybody's decided to go on today. Got a few hards in the form of Luke Martin, Masic, Zerveld and Adolf at the back of the field, but mostly medium runners here today. I don't think we need any other details up. It won't rain probably. Well, let's find out. So here we go, everybody warming their tyres up for one final time as we head into the grid. A few people getting disqualified, and Aston Martin having to reposition on the grid, maybe falling down the order a little bit. As here we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Zandvoort for the Tier 3 race. And it is Mitchell on pole, and he gets away not too well as Best is going to draw alongside into turn 1. The Ferrari getting past Vasilev, Kosev getting past Vasilev into turn 1 as well. Bit of contact made between the AlphaTauri and the McLaren as they exit turn 1. Kosev looking to pick up any pieces as he head now into turn 3 and 4. Mitchell ahead. Kosev looking round the outside of Best. Maybe trying to get the slingshot on the outside of the corner. Doesn't make the move stick on this occasion. Kosev must have had an electric start here to pull away as Luke Martin has fallen down the order and is now at the back of the grid in 17th. Looks like he had contact through turn 4. Oh, there's more contact made. I believe it was, it's Mitchell. I was sorry about that. I was looking down to try and get a track map up. And Mitchell has had contact. I'm not too sure how, or if he's just spun out on his own accord, because he did have a big gap. Maybe it's the chanting in chat that's put him off. But Mitchell is now down in P16. And best Kosev and Vasilev, your top three here in Zandvoort at the moment. And Kosev's looking like he's going to get a good run on best here into turn 1. Not using any ERS on this occasion though. Best setting the fastest lap as he's going to be the first one to cross the line. Further down the order, we have Palmer trying to close up to the back of Sargent. As the two Aston Martins making good progress in this race. Luke and Adolf both into the pit lane here on lap 2. Oh, and the side by side. I think that was the fry of Unfi and Masic in the Haas going side by side there. And I think one of them went onto the grass very momentarily. As I think Luke and Adolf both coming in for the medium tyres, swapping from the hards. As we head down now into turn 11, Unfi not going to make the move on this occasion by the looks of things. Too far back for the Ferrari driver. And Ice Cream, I think, getting overtaken there by Mitchell, who's going to be looking to recover this race from here onwards. And if that late rain is to come, that might help him in his progress. But as it stands, Kosev may be coming under a little bit of pressure here from Vasilev. And DRS will now be active, remember. As we head on to lap 3, there's a purple lap there from Mitchell down in P13, showing he's still got the pace over everyone in this field, even down the order. And after what must have been a spin, I think Sargent's had a little bit of contact there into turn 4 as well. But this is what we want to see. Livingston looking all over the back of Vasilev's McLaren. As there's another yellow flag, it's still the Red Bull. So pretty close here at the top. Cassie finding himself 4 places up in P5 as well. Zerveld gaining 2. Bates and Palmer both gaining positions off the start. As Vasilev tried to find a way around the outside of the Ferrari there, but it's very, very hard to overtake around here if you don't have the tyre advantage. And at the moment, everyone's still on the same age tyres and on the same compound tyres. Oh, is Sargent having another spin? I believe that's his second spin of this lap, or third. Not having a great race so far. Oh no, he's having. He needs to change those tyres. As it looks like Zerveld now has fallen out of the DRS of Cassie and might not get the assistance down this straight. But who will get the assistance down this straight is Vasilev. Is he going to try and find a way down the inside of the Ferrari? Not on this occasion, but he is. Does look like he has the pace advantage here at the moment. I know Kosev is on controller, and I couldn't imagine having to do this track on controller. Oh, and Kosev's teammate Unfi had a spin on the penultimate corner and is going to be falling down to P13 as Mitchell sets the fastest lap once again. Did anyone know what happened to Mitchell? Like I said, I didn't see it, but I don't know if I caught it on stream or not. Kosev seems to have picked up the pace all of a sudden, as he's all over the back of K-Best now, and Vasilev's fallen down the order a little bit. Oh, is a Red Bull getting way out of the way there, and Sargent, I think, getting lapped here on lap 5. And taking a 10-second time penalty, I think, just trying to get out of the way of these guys. Oh, Livingston's out. Livingston's lost it. He's in the wall on the right there for Williams. And that's going to be a safety car, I think. Yeah, safety car is out. And we'll collect K-Best on the next lap by the looks of things. As they've just gone past the safety car. We are seeing a few people into the pits. Magnussen coming in for the soft compound tyres. As well as Ice Cream, actually. Also onto the soft compound tyres. Williams. Oh, no. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know why these guys are pitting for soft compound tyres. Because it's not going to exactly help them now. Unless they're thinking that they can still pull off their old strategy and just have the pace to move up the field now. Luke, Williams, Heyer, Martin. DDoSed him. Oh, is Kosev thought about going into the pits there, but changed his mind. I don't think we've seen any of these top guys come in. Looks like everyone fairly comfortable in this stage of the race to stay out on their tyres. Mitchell's staying out, and that has brought him back up into the field now in P9. So we'll have to keep an eye on him for moving his way up. All part of the master ice cream plan. Sitting a race out is probably the most painful thing. Yeah. You're telling me. I've sat out for half the season. Y'all ain't ready for these overheating soft tyres. Will probably drop off in 0.5 laps. Yeah. I don't think soft's really are the tyre to be on around here. I think the hards, from what I remember, are pretty good around here as well. And Unfee's out on there, and Zerveld and Ducker as well. And Masic. But as we head into Sector 2 here on lap 8, it is Best leading Kosev from Vasilev, Cassie, Zerveld, Bates, Palmer, Masic, Mitchell and Magnussen rounding out the top 10 under their safety car period, who we might see come in next lap. So towards the end of lap 9 onto lap 10, I think we'll see the safety car coming in. Oh, safety car in this lap. Never mind. Everybody has caught up. So I suppose they want to get the race underway as soon as possible. So heading on to lap 9 then, we are going to have a safety car restart. Let's see how Best gets away. We're right on board with Kosev. Currently P2 for the Scuderia team. And when will Best decide to go? And there it is. Best has planted his foot to the floor. Kosev maybe getting caught out a little bit, but it's still not detrimental to the gap between these two, as he is keeping up. But Vasilev is pushing Kosev through turn 1 into turn 4 now. Still very close between these two. There's a spun out for Romeo towards the back of the pack. There's Adolf. He's had a spin into the wall. Don't think it's terminal. Maybe he has lost a front wing. Yes, he's lost the front wing. But further down the pack, I think that is Sargent. Just getting out of the way for these guys, as he is currently a back marker in this race. Ice Cream making the move past Magnussen now. Up into P10, into the points paying position for him on those soft compound tyres. As here's our pole sitter for this race, watching the two Aston Martins ahead of him go side by side through turn 10. Down this DRS straight, of course, though. DRS not active for another lap. Mitchell will be hoping to make some progress here in this new closed up pack. As Palmer there, you can see the back end stepping out as he went too far over that curve and bottoming out on the middle of it. Mitchell not finding the pace on this occasion to make the move up into P7, but currently finds himself in P8 after starting on pole, falling to the back of the pack on lap 1. And it's having a great recovery as it stands. So we watch Ice Cream now coming through turn 9 into turn 10. Side by side is Mitchell going on to Palmer now, trying to find his way down the inside of the Aston Martin. Not on this occasion. Might be waiting for DRS to start making his way through the field. Up at the front of the field though, Kosev still clinging onto the back of K Best. Even without DRS, Best is unable to pull away and break that 1 second margin. And DRS will now be enabled as we head on to lap 11. As it looks like Palmer is going to be looking to try and get a move done on his teammate, on his team principal. Trying to find his way down the inside at turn 1. Is Roy Bates going to manage to hold it around the outside? No, he's not. Roy Bates falling down into P7 of his teammate, overtaking him up into P6 for Palmer. As Mitchell now trying to find his way around the outside at turn 4. Very daring move as Magnussen seems to have lost the back end, or has had a spin at turn 3 on those soft compound tyres. That's what you would not have been hoping for, but Mitchell moving himself up into P7. So here goes Ice Cream once again, trying to find the move on the Haas of Masic, on the hard compound tyres for Masic, soft compound tyres for Ice Cream, and that is the move done now into turn 11. And he'll be setting after Roy Bates next, up in P8. But it depends how long these soft compound tyres will hold on for Ice Cream. Up at the front of the field, Kosev still clinging onto the back of K-Best. Just not having the impression he might want with the DRS. Each time he gets the DRS, he's not able to draw alongside. So Best must be running some low downforce setup here today to have the speed to defend off the Ferrari. As Vasilev seems to be falling back a little bit from the front two. Maybe recharging battery or just trying to look after his tyres. But at the moment, Kosev and Best seem to be the two fastest guys out there, with maybe Mitchell putting himself up there as well. So not too much happening throughout the field, even though drivers are separated by less than a second all the way down to P12 at the moment. But no moves seeming to be made right now. Is we might actually see one from Ice Cream on the soft compound tyres. He sets the fastest lap of the race, but can't make the move on Rory Bates on this occasion. Sargent now taking the fastest lap on the 7-lap or soft compounded tyres, but of course is a lap down in this race, so he's going to have some work to do if he wants to find himself back up into the points again. And he might not have wanted to take that fastest lap off his teammate, who is in the points, as you won't get the point for fastest lap if you are outside the top 10. Still though, the top 3 all very close, and Cassie just clinging onto the DRS each lap, but still doesn't seem to have the pace of these guys up at front, as the gap doesn't seem to be closing between Cassie and Vasilev. But still, very good performance from Cassie for the Alpine team. They need a good result here to get some more money in their budget. But here goes Vasilev trying to make it a 1-2 for the McLaren team as he heads down the inside at turn 1, but gets a bit crossed up on the curb. Is that going to allow Cassie now to try and find a way around the outside? No, it isn't. But very good attempt there from Vasilev to try and take second place off Kosev. And it looks like Vasilev might fall out of the DRS here, and Cassie is still trying to eye up a move on Vasilev, but at the moment nothing doing, as I think he got a little bit crossed up there heading through turn 7 and 8. There's a yellow flag. It's an Aston Martin. It's Rory Bates has had a spin around about where Luke Martin had a spin in qualifying. I wonder if it's a similar incident, or maybe the inside curb this time around. But he's not going to be happy with that, as Ice Cream now has broken that 1 second, or that DRS train, temporarily at least, as Rory Bates had another spin at turn 10. So once the tyres overheat here, they must lose a lot of grip. And will Ice Cream get the DRS here on lap 14, heading on to 15, as there's an AlphaTauri of Mitchell into the pit lane. And it doesn't look like Ice Cream got the DRS yet, so he's keeping this DRS train alive. But with Mitchell pulling off into the pit lane, it's now 1.1 seconds between him and Palmer up ahead, as it looks like Luke Martin making a move past Unfi there, just about caught that around the outside at turn 1. Sam Palmer also looking very racy all of a sudden, closing up to the back of Sebastian Zerveld on those hard compound tyres. Going to be going long into this race, and the safety car will have just helped him do that. Maybe looking for maybe a hard soft, or maybe a late race hard medium to have that pace advantage at the end. But it looks like Vasilev has managed to catch up to the back of Kosev once again. Let's see if he can try and make the move stick this time, as we head through the penultimate corner of turn 13 into 14, running a little bit wide on that corner. We've seen a few people make mistakes here today, but this time around it looks like he's going to be a little bit too far back from the Ferrari to think about a move. As Ice Cream has closed up to the back of Sam Palmer, but not managed to make a move into turn 1 just yet. And Unfi's keeping up to the back of Luke Martin in that Ferrari. Sebastian Zerveld, our Season 4 Tier 3 champion, is looking to try and make a move on Ben Cassie here. It looks like he's got the pace on him at the moment, and Cassie just about clinging on to DRS of Vasilev ahead. But it looks like he's losing pace as this race goes on. Why can't this... why can't this camera angle just be on like a button bind? Why can't we just have helicopter? As here goes Sebastian Zerveld, maybe into turn 1, trying to find a way around a gap that Cassie might leave open, but not on this occasion as we head through tiles and corner. Cassie emerges still ahead of the Haas driver. Mitchell now setting the fastest lap. Mitchell's gone onto this soft compound tyre, which is very daring from him. But maybe just looking to make a few positions up in the middle stages of this race before possibly rain. Who knows? People could try and extend this if there is rain on its way. And it has got very overcast all of a sudden. You have to say. There's a 5-second penalty there for Rory Bates. He's coming into the pits now on lap 17 of this race from his medium compound tyres. And Rory Bates has left the session while he was in the pits. I'm not sure if that is intentional or not, but he has got to retire the car because we don't want an AI driving about here at the moment. And it looks like Magnussen and Adolf having a little bit of a scrap here at the back of the field. Oh, and Faxi has got past Kosev. Where's Kosev? Oh my god, what's going on here? And that is going to be a safety car, and that is Ice Cream out of the race. And is that rain? I can see rain. Rain is falling onto the track once again, just like it was in the sprint race. Internet issues and PC issues. Cannot retire, so restarting my game. That is from Rory Bates. Thanks, Monk. But yeah, safety car, just as the two McLarens get up into the 1-2 position. Unsafe rejoin from Kosev is what I'm hearing. Mitchell onto the intermediates already. So he's biting the bullet this early on, but if the track doesn't get wet enough before the safety car comes in, that could be a very bad call. It's going to be interesting to see what everybody does here. Let's watch as K-Best going to make the decision to come into the pits. Yes, he is. K-Best is into the pit lane. And his teammate is as well, so it's going to be a double stack at McLaren. As he's going onto the soft compound tyres, so he doesn't think it's going to be wet enough just yet. As there's Vasilev waiting for his teammate to leave the box so that he can go in. He's going onto the hard compound tyres. Maybe a mistake from Vasilev there. And he is going to be coming out behind both Palmer and Cassie in P6, but I think that's going to be net P4. Interesting choice from Faxi. I think Best might have a little bit of a strategy gamble going on here. See, I don't think Inters might not be the right call. They might, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how long this takes for the track to become Inters. But if he can't make 20 seconds up on the intermediate runners, it's going to cost him big time. As Bates has picked up another 5-second time penalty, entering the pits. Let's see, is Vasilev going to decide to pit? No, he's staying out on the hard compound tyres. Maybe they're not expecting a heavy rainfall. Maybe not. So Unfi and Zerveld are both staying out on the hard compound tyres as well up at the front. Let's see, is the safety car going to be in this lap? It doesn't look like it. Safety car's going to be out another lap. I think that's Adolf coming into the pit lane on the intermediates. Interesting. Unfeet coming off the hard compound tyres, so he has decided it is too wet for the slicks. Both the McLarens both staying out on track on the slick tyre, but it definitely looks like it's Inter's weather now. Safety car will be in this lap. There's going to be Zerveld in the Haas, leading us away from the final corner. But on the 20-lap old hard compound tyres, in what looks like intermediate weather. Oh, what's going on at the back? Someone's into the pits. Matic is into the pit lane from the slick compound tyres. Oh, and Zerveld spun. Zerveld has spun on the restart. Cassie now going to be looking for the lead of this race as K-Best gets hit in the rear from Sam Palmer and has lost the back end, and the Alfa Romeo of Ducati nearly runs into the back of the McLaren. So Unfeet's going to find his way round the outside there at turn 3 and up into P4 in this race. Luke Martin finds himself up into the podium positions now out of nowhere. And K-Best and Vasilev both just falling down the order here, making the wrong call on the tyres. But Cassie is leading a race for the Alpine team. Sam Palmer is up into P2 in this race, but has got Luke Martin, who is going to be very hungry to take that position off him, and might do here as he exits turn 10. Luke Martin flies down the inside of Sam Palmer's Aston Martin as he runs a little bit wide. Looks like Sam Palmer might have wing damage, actually. He's missing an end plate from the side, the left-hand side of that Aston Martin. As Mitchell now finds himself back up into the top 5 in this race. What a great recovery drive from him. Unfeet now coming into the pit lane. No surprise, we see K-Best finding his way into the pit lane as well. As Adolf now has retired from the session in the pit lane, I believe. So hopefully there shouldn't be any kind of safety car. Vasilev and Zerveld both into the pit lane as well as Ducati. But Ben Cassie leading the Dutch Grand Prix for the Alpine team, but Luke Martin who's been very quiet today. We've not seen much of him since qualifying, but has stepped it up and is finding himself up into P2 in this race and closing on the Alpine up ahead. Mitchell has got past his teammate and now he's looking onto the rear of Sam Palmer's Aston Martin and trying to find his way up into the top 3. Let's see what Sam Palmer can do to defend off Mitchell, who has looked extremely fast here all weekend. Obviously, he challenged these conditions on the slick compound tyres in the sprint race and found his way to the checkered flag in first place. He's playing it patient. He doesn't want to make too much of a dive bomb or ascend on Sam Palmer and risk damage at this point. As I think you might know that Sam Palmer is carrying that wing damage, and he should be able to get a better exit out of the final 2 corners and maybe attacking down the straight due to that lack of downforce on the Aston Martin, as he's already running wide and he's going to try and find his way down the inside through turn 14. Nothing doing on that occasion. He might be using a little bit of ERS, a little bit of battery down the straight here to try and find his way up the inside of the Aston Martin into turn 1. Mitchell holding the inside line there. A little bit of tyre banging going on between these two. As there you go. Mitchell up into P3 now in this race for the AlphaTauri team. And Sam Palmer falling down the order, but is still holding a solid P4 with that wing damage. As up the road we did see Luke Martin try and make a move on Ben Cassie into turn 1, but maybe wasn't close enough. But he's definitely closed that gap now. Half a second just between these two, as there's a yellow flag, and I believe that is Hugo Magnussen, who has had a spin. It is. Hugo Magnussen's had a spin at turn 7. We'll head back up to the top guys now, as this is what we want to see. Luke Martin, the man who went off at Baku around 15 times, is now fighting for the win. He's yet to win this season, and I know for a fact he wants it. He's hungry for it, and this might be his opportunity here for the Mercedes team here in Season 5 at Amethyst Racing. What can Luke Martin do against Ben Cassie? On this occasion, Cassie pushing him right up to the pit wall, but Luke's going to try it around the outside instead, maybe looking for a switchback, but no, he's just going to go deep on the brakes, send it around the outside in the wet conditions, run a little bit wide onto the curb, but that is Luke Martin into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. Hugo Magnussen's DNF'd. He is retired from the session at the final corner. There's a yellow flag down the main straight at the moment, but Luke Martin now leading this race for the Mercedes team. He's just got to keep it composed for what is another 11 laps. That was a great move there from Luke Martin around the outside. It was a worthy move for the lead of the race, but he's got to worry about Mitchell catching up to Ben Cassie now at a rate of knots. Gained a second in that last lap, and will be looking to put himself up into P2 and then the lead of the race and convert that pole position into a win. As Duckett now is retired. Duckett is retired out of this race. I don't know what's happened to him, but it is a full course safety car. Once again, here on lap 26, we have a full course safety car. And that is the third safety car of the race. I'm not sure how Luke Martin is going to feel about that one. I mean, it might be less laps that he has to defend from Mitchell, but now Mitchell is going to be that much closer to him. And Ben Cassie still splitting the two. If he gets a bad restart, it could cost him. But all this rain is really making me need to go to the toilet, so enjoy. Alright, we are back. Crusher of the race is 100% me. Still a few people to catch up. There's still a 16 gap between Best and Palmer, and then a 20-second gap between Vasilev and Best. So we have we might have a safety car for a good few laps here. Rory has made a mistake. He's gone onto the slick compound tyres. That could prove very costly for him. As he gets overtaken. Yeah, I don't think he's going to want those slick compound tyres to the end of this race. Is he also missing a bit of his wing? Yes, he is. He's missing his front right end plate. That's 2 front wings now for the Aston Martin team this weekend. Oh, and he's gone... That's going to be a penalty. Yeah. Well, interesting. We're just waiting for the 2 McLarens, the Haas and Roy Bates, who I'm going to guess is going to head into the pit lane. And hopefully not retire and just change to the Inters. But he doesn't need to retire. Unless the safety car is in this lap, then he might have a bit of a problem on his hands. Safety car will be out another lap. So it should give enough time for at least Zerveld and Vasilev to catch up, but Bates is still very far back, 35 seconds for him to catch up in 1 lap. Takes it right this time. Is it me or has Roy not gained any time? Or is it because Zervo is catching up as well? Never mind. I wonder if it's going to wait for him. No, it is not. Safety car will be in this lap. So Roy Bates doesn't seem like he's going to be able to catch up to this the train of cars, and the race will resume without him. L to the mans. But now, as we head through turn 12, we can see the front wing. Front wing. Whose front wing was that? I think it was the Red Bull. It's the Red Bull of... oh, it's Sargent. Sargent down, a lap down from all these guys anyway. But still, hopefully no damage to Kosev's Ferrari as well. But we'll ride on board... Oh, sorry, no, we'll watch Luke Martin try and nail down his restart, and off he goes. And he has got away well. 5/10 gap to Ben Cassie in P2. Is Mitchell going to be close enough to try and make a move on the Alpine? No, not on this occasion, but who is Masic getting overtaken by Unfi, trying to make it a 4-5 for the Ferrari team, as Mitchell now moves himself up into P2. We didn't quite catch that, but he must have got a great exit out of turn 1. Unfi making the move past Masic, but Masic trying to fight off on the inside of turn 4, as we can see Palmer and Vasilev come through there as well, just behind. Best and Zerveld going side by side. At the exit of turn 4, there's contact made. Best has been spun round by Zerveld. Contact with the barrier as well. And Best is going to be spinning out into P11 as Roy Bates goes past him. But this is the battle we want to see, as Luke Martin will be leading Mitchell through turn 12. Oh, sorry, through turn 10. And down into turn 11. No DRS, remember, it's too wet for the DRS to be activated. Although the track does look like it's drying up quite rapidly. Oh, there's a Ferrari getting a big snap. That's Kosev getting a big snap of oversteer coming out of turn 12. Let's see what can Mitchell do as he head through the final corner, getting right up to the barrier there. You saw the car getting a little bit loose as he straightened back up to go down straight into the Tarzan corner as Luke breaks the toe, maybe trying to find some cool puddles to cool his tyres down in, but ultimately staying ahead of Mitchell. Kosev's on the grass through here, heading through turn 4 and 5. Maybe lapse in concentration there for the Ferrari driver, but yeah, not keeping up with Cassie, but not any moves forming for him right now. As Sam Palmer is keeping up to the back of Vasilev in the McLaren. Mitchell still chasing after Luke Martin for the lead of this race. It's going to be difficult for Mitchell to make a move, but even more difficult for Martin to defend, maybe. As they head into turn 1 once again, Luke Martin still leading Mitchell through there. Takes a little bit of a different line. It looks like Mitchell maybe getting a bit more of an apex there, as the Ferraris are in, but they're double stacking onto slick compound tyres. Very, very interesting. Interesting strategy there from the Ferrari duo. I know Luke Martin is not going to let up. He's going to want this win. Just like in real life, his Mercedes working great around here. As there's a hydrate. Great. Sam Palmer maybe looking for the move here onto Vasilev. Oh, into turn 11. Doesn't quite find the space to make a move there. Maybe trying to find his way up the inside through turn 13. That was because I was taking... Oh, he's done 3 hydrates. Four hydrates. Oh, is Vasilev's coming into the pit lane? Vasilev into the pits for what I'm going to assume is going to be slick compound tyres. A lot of people changing back to the slicks. I don't think they're going to have that much of a pace advantage, though, to catch back up to these guys. It's going to be very questionable to whether they will or not. As Roy Bates has gone deep at turn 1 and actually finds himself back into the points now in P7 due to these people pitting from the slick to the slick compound tyres. These two still jointing at the hip, up fighting for P1 at the moment. That is a Ferrari strategy, you are correct. DRS now active though, remember, for Mitchell. So we might be looking at changing the lead of the race here. As we head through the final 2 corners. Mitchell falling back a little bit here. 7/10 now the gap between Martin and Mitchell. Maybe Martin finding his groove a little bit more. As Mitchell hits the wall there on the exit of turn 14. Trying to push the limits of the car as Sam Palmer is now going to be making a move for P3. Up into the podium positions for the Aston Martin driver. Down the inside of Ben Cassie at turn 1 at Tarzan corner. And that is going to be Sam Palmer up into P3 of this race. But Luke and Mitchell absolutely pushing the limit out here. We saw Mitchell hit the barrier on the exit of turn 14, trying to get as much track and as much grip as he can out of his car and the tyres. But Luke is keeping himself composed and doing a great job out there in the lead at the moment. As Mitchell is trying to find whatever he can within himself to try and make this move past Luke Martin, who looks to be, and I think the lights are still flashing due to the switching weather, but he's not out of ERS. Zunfi now has got past Best, and Best might be getting passed by his teammate Vasilev very soon, as the slick tyres are faster than the intermediates, but I don't think the pit stop was worth it for any of them. So here we go, once again through turn 9 into, turn 8 into turn 9. Mitchell trying to find a way up the inside. He's trying to find any gap that he can past past Luke Martin. As Martin's gone wide there, that might invite Mitchell to get a better exit, but no, I think Martin's got it covered. He's found the traction he needs on these intermediates in the dry conditions. What a way to win this race it would be for Luke Martin, his first win of the season, if he can hold on for just one more lap. We're heading on to the final lap of this race, lap 36. But let's see if Mitchell has anything left in the locker. Can he do what he needs to and get past Luke Martin with the DRS assistance? This is his final chance down the pit straight to get the move done. He's going to be too far back heading into turn 1. Is he going to manage to do it throughout the lap, maybe through sector 2? Zerveld now getting past Ben Cassie, but we are going to focus on this fight for the lead at the moment. Mitchell started on pole, had an incident on turn 1 that saw him fall down to the back of the order, and he's fought his way up throughout this race from medium tyres to to soft tyres to intermediates, and now finds himself back at the front of the pack, chasing the leader of the race on the intermediates in dry conditions. What can Mitchell do here? Can he find a way maybe up the inside here at turn 10? No, he's too far back. His final dose of DRS throughout this race and his final run maybe on Luke Martin is going to come up now. Down into turn 11. He's too far back. He's not going to manage to make the move stick here. He's going to cut the corner a little bit just to try and close up with that few tenths that he can. 3 tenths now the gap between these two as Palmer and Zervold are squabbling for position down for P3, the final place on the podium. Oh, Mitchell runs a little bit wide, but I think Martin's done it. Martin, after his disaster in Japan, his disaster in Monza, is going to come home to win the Dutch Grand Prix for Mercedes and finish at the top of everyone else. Martin has done it, finally, in this season. It's taken him like 8 rounds. I don't know what round we're on, but he's done it and won a race here in Tier 3. Mitchell, I'm sure, isn't too disappointed with that. Starting on pole, falling down to the back, and climbing his way back up to P2. And Sam Palmer finishes on the podium for Aston Martin. Zervold and Masic, both staying out on the intermediates, have finished P4 and P5, a good team result, as well as McLaren. But I'm sure we would have preferred a 1-2 that we were on for. But, you know, you can't get them all the time. What a drive from Luke. Both Mitchell and Luke both deserved that win. What a drive. What a drive. And there he is. Your man, Luke Martin. He's going to be taking the top step of the podium today. His first win of the season. I'm sure this means a lot to him. And might bring him back into the fight It's like a constructors fight, at least. But his teammate didn't turn up today, but boy did he. He turned up, and it wasn't looking too good at the start of the weekend. Qualifying was very, very on edge for him after a few spins and a few mistakes. But it's an all-British podium as well, I've just realised, with Martin at the top of them all. But the biggest point scorer of the weekend will be Luke Martin as well, with Mitchell getting 8 points in the sprint race, 18 points here today, and then 1 point for the fastest lap as well. But what a result. A great race there from everyone. I'm just going to do this because I don't have time to screenshot. That was a long race, 52 minutes that race lasted. But it was fun to watch. Good stuff. Also, quick note while we're loading. If anybody wants to buy me a wheel, I'd be eternally grateful. Thank you. Right, let me sort out this. Any wheel, just not a Logitech. Anything. Right, there we go. Okay. Does this come up now? Oh, great. What? Okay, right. There we go. Now it's letting me grab it. Alright, let's go on with some driver interviews. Epic Alexa, do you remember how... Of course I remember who you are. And we'll talk about unbans afterwards. But I'm streaming right now, so... Let me do my thing. I don't spell my name like that, otherwise I will ban you again. Alright. I don't even know you were banned, to be honest. Right, live on air. Let's go and do interviews. Okay, the interview box is now open for people that want to join. And Luke Martin, when you get yourself in there, just bring yourself up because, I mean, I can't really invite you up. There we go. And it's, of course, it's not up there as well. Alright. Mr. Luke Martin and Monk, if you want to come up. Welcome, welcome. I mean, it's finally here for you, Luke.
Oh, I hate that track as well. I actually hate that track.
Luke had he had like 5 laps of time trouble as practice, and he was spinning in every single lap he did. He spun on his first 2 laps in quali as well.
I think we saw an essence of that in quali, yeah. So, I mean, quali was probably a little bit of a stress for you. I mean, we saw your first lap, you went off into the gravel at turn 13.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later on, you had a bit of a spin on the exit curve of turn 8. And then I think you just got a lap in like the final 6 minutes. And did you improve on that in the end?
No, I binned it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he lost like 2 tenths in the second to the last corner.
Right.
You only got one lap in.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were kind of all over the place in the race. We didn't see much of you until the final few laps because there was so much going on with the rain and it was like a 12-man DRS train at some point. So
Yeah, I was at the back of that.
yeah, so there was a lot of stuff going on, but we saw a few overtakes and then all of a sudden, safety car comes out, intermediate tires, people are going on to, and
I felt better on them. I felt so much better on the intermediates, even in the sprint race.
yeah, well, I think you were P2, right, in terms of intermediate runners, like in the safety car.
P3.
P3. Yeah,
Well,
so
no, it was a really weird train. It was Zerveld, then it was Best, then it was, I don't know who was third. Fourth was someone, I think it was Vasilev. Fifth was myself. Zerveld spins as he guns it on the line. Everyone crosses the line panicking, and I'm like, free real estate.
It was Servel, Best, Cassie, Palmer, Vasilev, and then you P6.
Oh, sick! I was sick even.
Yeah, but Luke was last by 30 seconds after turn 1. He got spun and I got wing damage.
yeah, well, you didn't have a great start to the race, but like I say, the safety car came out, the third safety car, and you were up there. And I think once Best and Vasilev realised they were on the wrong tyres, you kind of emerged up at the front. I don't think we quite caught your move on who was the guy P2.
Cassie.
No, we caught the move on Cassie. It was a beautiful
Palmer.
move.
Palmer.
Yeah, we didn't quite catch a move on Palmer. I don't think. Maybe we did.
He had a bit of wing damage. He had a bit of wing damage, running a bit wide.
Yeah, he did.
I took it tight as well.
I had that orange wing damage. There's no point in me doing anything there.
Yeah, but then you had the pace, and it looked like you were pulling away after you did that brilliant move around the outside at turn 1, and on Cassie, you started to pull away. I think you got over a second before, or is it the third safety car then? I think it's the third safety car then.
We had 4.
Did you have 4? Okay.
We had 4 in total.
So the fourth safety car.
The fourth safety car comes out, and it's my first time ever leading off a safety car restart.
Yeah, and then.
And the fan just done it.
Well, I mean, you did, and you pulled out 5 tenths to Cassie, and I think Cassie maybe went deep at turn 1, which then allowed Mitchell to go through. But from there, you and Mitchell both looked like you had pretty similar pace, and
Mitchell had the pace in sector 3 definitely. Sector 2, I would normally gain a bit on him, and sector 1, it was I would make gains in the first few corners, and then the long left-hander, he definitely caught up on me with a better line. I was very tight on that inside.
Yeah.
Sector 1 was pretty equal. Like they were trading like at 10 plus 2, but then Luke pulling away like 3, 4, 10 sector 2, and Mitchell was getting it back like 3.
Yeah, and I mean it was tricky conditions. I couldn't imagine the inters were liking the temperatures they were getting towards the end of that race as well, and the dry. I mean, softs don't even like it around here. So
turn 8 was a bit of a throttle management corner. Turn 8 and turn 14, you had to manage the throttle to make sure you didn't go too high on exit. But other than that, like the inters felt really nice actually.
Yeah. Well, is this a free Happy Meal for yourself?
Yes, actually. No. It's more than a Happy Meal. It is more than a Happy Meal.
What is this then? Is this what is it? Big Mac?
No, I'm thinking double quarter pounder with cheese and bacon.
There you go.
Plus
There you
9
go.
chicken nuggets.
9, 20. Come on now.
You think my brain can fit 20 nuggets inside me?
You just lost loads of weight from that race, haven't you? You have one driver.
I'm sweating it in real life. I was. Oh no, Mitchell put me right on the edge the whole last 6 laps. It was like clench.
Well, I do.
Praying he didn't tap my ass.
I'd like to point out, I do think the bottom 2 drivers on the first lap ended up being the top 2 drivers on the last lap. I think that is true from what I remember.
Yeah.
So I mean, both of you did a very, very good job out there today, and very good from Monk to not draw you into the slick tyres at the end there, because I don't think that would have paid off.
We were very much screaming no slicks. Both of us
Yeah.
no slicks.
Yeah. You're doing opposite Lando. But no, great stuff. And what are your thoughts for Spa? Obviously, people taking grid pens there now as well.
Firstly, I hope I can actually get some practice in because there's been a lot.
Hey.
Been a lot of FIA work.
Hey, you can race, okay? You can actually play the game, okay? So
Yeah, but you also
chill
have a
out.
clip of me losing my absolute mind. So let's call it equal, shall we?
No.
I have pretty much the same from this race, turn 1.
But yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. I like that,
But
please.
yeah, I'm hoping to get some practice in and look good through El Rouge.
Well, good stuff today, and I'm sure we'll see you. Well, you'll be commentating on Friday, of course. For I hope so.
I've already heard what everyone in tier 2 and 3 who watches is planning to do.
What's
They're
that?
planning on saving up all of their tokens for the final race in tier 1.
Right. Well, I'll try and be there for Brazil. Just to give you a little bit of a hand.
Please.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you both for coming up here, and we'll bring
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mitchell up here if he's here. Is he here? I think that's him. Yes, it is. Come on up here. Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Well, I mean, great qualifying. I mean, you were probably looking for pole, but
Yeah, I had the pace to do it at an 11. Was it a 10.9? But I messed up sector 3 on my last lap. I was 10th up then sector 3, and I messed up the penultimate corner a little bit.
Well, it didn't matter all in the end. I mean, getting the lead of the sprint race eventually off Best. You two looked like you were pretty similar on pace in it throughout that sprint race. Maybe you were just a little bit of an edge, but either way,
Yeah, as
getting past him in the end.
As the track started to get a little bit wet, I saw that I had a bit of an advantage on him. Probably wasn't as comfortable on the changing conditions, and I was able to overtake it. I did give it one go, tried to cut him back on turn 1, but then I lost the rear a little bit, so I had to do it the lap after.
Yeah, well, I mean, getting the sprint race win, that's another 8 points towards you and your team. Obviously, you being reserve won't go into the Drivers' Championship, unfortunately.
Yep.
But 8 points to the team, and then probably a very frustrating lap 1. We didn't quite catch on stream what happened. Was it contact with Best, or was it an error on your behalf? Or
Nope, I pissed it away all on my own.
oh, what corner was it? Was it turn 3, 4?
It was the really fast right-hander that leads into the end of sector 2.
Right.
So there's sort of the straight that's not a straight.
Yeah.
Then it's the fast right-hander. Then it's the really fast chicane, and then the second right-hander that's really fast. I just lost the rear on there. I was the difference in grip between the end of the sprint and the start of the main race was massive, and I just got a little bit overexcited on the throttle and just lost the rear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but either way, you climbed yourself. You look like you had a fun overtaking spree amongst the midfield.
Yeah, I definitely had I was definitely a little bit faster than some of the midfield guys, so I didn't want to make any too sort of send up the inside moves. I just wanted to sort of make some clean overtakes. Don't want to mess up anyone's race or anything like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw you being very patient with a few drivers, as well, like sitting behind them when the move could have been on. But
like I said, I didn't want to mess up anyone's race, or because I was trying to get back up to the front. So
yeah, and I mean, in the end, it kind of didn't matter anyway. But
it paid out in the end. The safety car before the inters definitely helped. I kind of gambled a little bit. Luckily, the track got wet enough just as the last safety car came in. Second to last safety car came in.
Yeah.
Sorry. And,
well, we saw you on the soft compound tyres at some point. I think it's quite early on into the race as well. So was that like
I was trying to bait some of the front runners into changing tyres before it got wet, because the forecast said it wasn't going to start raining until right until the very end of the race. So I thought maybe everyone else was operating off of that assumption, and I thought maybe if I go onto softs, I might bait a couple of people into pitting as well, and then I can undercut them. But it didn't work out in the end. But fortunately, the safety car kind of mitigated that mistake. So a little bit lucky on my part, but it worked out.
Yeah, and I mean, those final few laps, it was pretty close. You got I'm guessing Cassie went a bit deep at turn 1, and you found your way around the inside.
On the restart, he just went a bit deep. I just said thank you very much. Took that one while the track was still wet, had good traction.
Yeah, And then obviously you and Martin having that you look very similar on pace all the way towards the end of that.
I felt like across the entire lap, I heard him say like in sector 2 he was a bit quicker, and he was. That's true. I felt like over the entire lap I had a bit of an advantage, but sort of the last 3 laps my front tires were screaming. They were like pushing 100 degrees, and I was like, "There's no way I can make a move without him making a mistake."
Yeah.
So I just thought I'll settle in behind him. I don't want to crash into him because I'm not that kind of driver. I'm not just going to send it up the inside because I'm getting desperate.
Well, you still managed to stay very, very close to him, and you know, if he did make a mistake, I'm sure you would have been there to pounce on it.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. But he's a very good driver, and he didn't make a mistake in the end. So.
Well, there you are, and I mean, either way, great recovery drive all the way from the back of the grid on lap 1,
definitely,
all the way up to P2, and I believe scored 26 points. So it's basically a race winning fastest lap if you think about it.
26. Yeah, I believe it is, or it might. Yeah, 26. Yeah.
I know it's 27 because he got fastest lap as well. I think.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I saw in the results.
I got fastest lap. Fair enough. I'll take that.
So there you go then. But yeah, I mean, Spa. Are you racing in Spa?
I should be. Yeah, I've had a couple of PC issues recently, which is why I've missed the last few races.
Right.
But hopefully, if I'm not working, I should be able to race in Spa. It's a track I quite like, and I think I'm quite fast there. So hopefully, another podium finish, ideally. Maybe the first elusive win that I'm still trying to chase.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope we see you in Spa. It's a good bit of action you brought us today as well, and you know, Swan will be back there as well. So we've seen you two tussle it out in Bahrain, so it'll be an interesting one to see you two back in Spa. But thank you for hopping up, thank you for having a chat, and great result today. So
thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, Sam Palmer. I mean, I don't know what your profile picture is, but I also don't know how you got on the podium.
I have no idea, mate.
Where is your team principal? Is he still crying?
No. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, either way, is any of your team here? No one's here to celebrate your podium.
Yes.
What an L. But I mean, you and Rory had a pretty. I'd say you didn't have a great qualifying. Rory got up to P6, and then the sprint race, you were both running throughout in the midfield together.
I mean, I tried to make some. I started P16 and then tried to make some moves around that turn 3. I think I went like too wide with Ferrari. I was on the inside going towards I don't know what calling it. I think it's like turn 4 or 5. I got taken out, so I sort of went down to the back of the grid, and then everyone started towards the end. I was gonna stick with the slicks, that stayed out, try and make up as many positions. Couldn't make up a few. Maybe got some points in the sprint, but I botted it on the second straight. So yeah, started 10th, and then dodgy race, can't lie.
So we know they had wing damage at the end of the second safety car or third. I can't even remember. But
it was on. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Was that from contact, or was it just the conditions changing that put you off?
No, it was I got orange ring damage on the restart of the safety car when Zabel, as soon as you cross the line. Span.
Yeah.
I went into the back of Cassie, I think.
You're lucky to not. You're lucky to not get a 5-second penalty from that, but
yeah,
I suppose it's not safety car conditions, was it? But yeah, I mean, either way, you fell down from P2, I believe you were, behind Cassie, and then Luke got you with the wing damage, and then someone else overtook you, right? Mitchell, of course.
Yeah,
Mitchell got past you, but then you managed to get back past Cassie, and then you and Zerveld, towards the end of that race, were battling out. We didn't quite catch it because we were too focused on what was going on up at the front. But talk us through that. Did you get into any kind of side by side battles with him, or?
Yeah, it was like with Zerva and Masic. I can't lie, I got a bit impatient on Masic. I think was it Masic or Zervold? I think it was Masic. It was going up to the second Diro straight. I was just closing on him. It was just affecting my race. I was just trying to make as many positions as I could, as I'd pitted basically for the last safety car for the wing damage and lost a few places. So I made a controversial move. I I think he sort of threw Massage off, which I apologise to him. Yeah, I was just getting a bit frustrated. So, I'm expecting a penalty to come my way. Maybe depends if they want to reply or not. But I mean, I think, yeah, it was a decent battle, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, at the moment it's a podium. But if it's not, then what is it? At most a P5.
Yeah, at most P5, potentially a P4.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really depends on the penalty.
And I mean, you've had, I think, your best run of results since season 2 when you joined, right? Season 1 were you here? Season 1.
I was season 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you've you've had only one race you haven't scored points, and it's the one you don't turn up to. And that's Rory. Never mind.
Rory, yeah.
I know you DNF'd in Australia,
Yeah,
which we saw on stream.
Yeah, I've scored points in every race, bar one, which I DNF. So.
And also didn't score points in the sprint race today, but your team, Aston Martin, is now apparently at the top of the standings.
Yeah, we're at 129 points. We're leading Haas by 3 points, but that can change.
Yeah.
I don't know what the crosshair standings saying. Oh, we're leading by 19 points. Cheeky. But yeah, we're not doing too bad. We're staying pretty consistent in all 3 tiers, so that's what's best.
Yeah, and I mean, that puts you up into P6, I think, in the drivers. 1 point off Magnussen, who I think had a pretty unfortunate race here today as well. So big gains on him, I think. And yeah, I mean, looking good for you guys at the moment. Any words on Spa? Are you gonna be there? Are you looking forward to it?
You know my luck for Rouge.
Oh yeah.
Commentating.
Oh yeah. Well, that was with a controller though, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna say I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else really to say. I mean, thank you for hopping up here, and I'm sure Rory was. We saw a point in the race actually where you overtook Rory after I think letting him past, and
yeah, he was scaring me. Get to desyncing back and was scaring me, so I just had to send it there.
Oh, imagine having Rory as a teammate.
I know, shocking.
Never me. Anyway.
Well, he didn't want to scare me, so.
Well, yeah, thank you for hopping up here, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Take care, Mush.
See you in a bit. Alright, I've done one more interview. We've done the top 3 and we'll do one more. Anybody want to put their hand up? Cassie wins. Oh, there we go.
For the puncture code.
Oh, you're very muffled. Hello? Oh, hello.
Hello?
There we go. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good now.
Okay.
Well, I guess first things first. We'll start with your quali. I mean,
shock, wasn't it?
well, I mean, I don't have the results right here, but if you want to tell me where you finished.
Well, I don't know. It was low down. I think it was 11th.
11th. Well,
I've updated the standings on the spreadsheet.
Oh, great.
Oh yeah, but do you have the results, Sam? That's what I need.
No, because I thought you'd screenshot them.
No, I'm a one-man operation up here. I can't do much.
Go select a Martin. He managed to do it all by himself.
Cope.
And while drinking.
Well, anyway, yeah. So you didn't have a great qualifying. I think a few people struggled in qualifying when they thought they wouldn't, and in the end, you managed to be fighting for a podium at least. You did have the lead of the race at one point, but I think maybe did you struggle a little bit on the intermediates towards the end of there? And
yeah, I just lacked a lot of pace in the wet. I don't know why. I thought my pace was pretty strong. I was keeping up with the leaders with quite significant ease in the dry, but then when the wet hit, I just lost all pace. Not confident, so I don't really know why I lost so much pace.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I don't I can't really answer that for you, but you know, we saw you you were up and down the standings. I feel like it was hard to say where everyone's pace was at today, just because of the conditions and incidents and stuff. But you know, you definitely you put yourself up there at the end, making the call on Inter before a few people did, and putting yourself at the sharp end. And yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. We didn't quite catch what happened towards the end there. With did you just fall back behind Sam and Zerbeld and everybody, or did you pit? I can't remember.
To be honest, my tires were overheating, so I started struggling. They were hitting 95, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started to struggle, and when Sam got past me, I thought, okay, that's fine. And then the Haas came up. I tried to fight him as much as I could. Made a bit of a late dive into last lap, and yeah, that's just how it went. So
Well, still, it was P6, right, in the end, and
P6, I DNF'd.
oh, did you? Wait, what?
Yeah. I went into the wall, and me and the Haas made contact, and I went flying into the wall.
Oh right, I didn't even realise.
Wow.
There was so much going on that race. I don't even know what to look at.
Last lap, last corner.
Oh, last lap.
Yeah, last lap, last corner, and
Oh, I was. Oh man, sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. I was focused so much on Martin and Mitchell up at the
Do you know
front.
if there's any rules about that actually?
With what? Sorry.
Like DNFing on the last lap.
You DNF.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So I know there's some leagues have different rules, but that's fine.
Alright.
It was a good race overall. I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you know you could do without the repairs and the
really
the cost
Oh,
that
thank
comes
you,
with that.
thanks for letting me know that.
But but in the end, you know, the Spa next.
Yeah.
And how do you feel you're gonna do there?
Well, pretty much same as Zandvoort. Not comfortable at Spa, but do
Try your
200 hours
hardest.
of practice and then I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sorry I didn't realize you DNF'd. I was completely
No problem.
fixated on the front. But yeah. Well, thank you for hopping up here, and we hope to see you next weekend, I guess.
Yeah. I hope to see you too, but talking about podium instead.
Alrighty, man. Well, I'll speak to you in a bit, and thank you for hopping up here. Alright. Well, we're going to wrap up the stream here, and we'll be back on Friday, 7 p.m. GMT, for the Tier 1 Belgium